Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of February, 2021. And we're asking the question, is the silver Robinhood Reddit renegade party over? Or is this just the beginning? Let's take a look. Now, before we answer that question, it's important to look at, if you haven't already done so, of course, the two videos we produced over the last 2 days. Yesterday's silver rockets from $27 to $30 overnight, and Sunday's $1,000 silver this week, where we highlighted that the GameStop shares were boosted by activities carried out by large Reddit groups, utilizing, amongst others, the Robinhood app to short squeeze the stock in GameStop, resulting in the share price rising from $68 to $469 in just a few days. This crowd's attention was then being diverted to targeting silver, at which point some commentators were talking about the prospect of silver potentially rising to as high as $1,000 an ounce. Now, in our weekly update on Saturday, we estimated that whilst we could see prices reaching $30, we could not completely rule out the prospect of silver prices going much higher if the Reddit gang, as we call them, followed through. Now, whilst we personally felt that was unlikely, simply because of the size and makeup of the silver market, and also the fact that it's a very different proposition compared to a pure equity market, we were cognizant of the fact that a number of dealers were already running out of silver stock, at least at the retail end, and ETF buying was going through the roof. However, we reported yesterday that some of the froth had diminished, with silver, which at the time was languishing around $29. We also pointed out that the gold to silver ratio had dropped dramatically into the early 60s and asked whether this could be sustained. It was interesting actually to hear Mike Maloney on a video yesterday saying during this interview that he would swap his silver for gold only when the GSR fell to 20-1. Perhaps indicating that he expected that to happen, although he didn't say it. But we cannot see that happening, or certainly not for some considerable time well into the future. Now, as we produce today's video, which the time is 14:23 GMT, silver prices have dropped further and are currently standing at $27.51, down $2 over the past 24 hours, and only 46 cents higher than Friday's close. Meanwhile, gold has dipped a little too, by $26 and stands at $1,838, actually $9 lower than Friday's close. And we do wonder if perhaps we may even see silver fall below Friday's close. So on the face of it, it appears the excitement is over. But we're not stopping there, as we heard an interesting comment yesterday, which we shall reveal to you in a moment. What is, though, quite interesting is that whilst we accept our videos are held back by YouTube, probably because of the name, as some perhaps algorithms think it's a name of conspiracy, and also some people, particularly in America, are literally afraid to open a video with Illuminati in its title. As soon as we mention $1,000 silver in that title, though, we had more views than almost any video we've produced over the past 12 months. Over 12,000 views in just over 2 days. Now, we mention this because it is important. If you're a serious investor, it's crucial that you appreciate that when you see all of these channels telling you that silver's going to the moon, or you see $10,000 gold overnight, or in the next week, or in the next month, or even in the next 12 months, you perhaps will appreciate why. It's clickbait to attract viewers, not necessarily because they have any fundamental understanding of what they're talking about, or, for some, they're deliberately spreading the myth because it's in their own financial interest to do so. We'd like to think it's the former rather than the latter, though we're not so certain that is always the case. So, yes, we quoted $1,000 in our title and it got a wonderful reception. And we thank everyone who did listen to that, and we do appreciate it. But please bear in mind, a lot of these channels with these outrageous claims, at least we stated we didn't expect it to go to that level, though we couldn't rule out that it wouldn't go much higher. But please appreciate, a lot of people are doing it to attract eyeballs to their videos. Now, we did point out in our video yesterday and the day before, we did not expect to see these figures, but we did expect to see $30 silver, and if the momentum continued, it could feasibly reach its previous all-time high of $50. But we cautioned from the beginning that these prices could fall just as quickly as they had risen, and for viewers not to get too carried away. Though it was exciting, we were excited too. Now we're back to a respectful gold to silver ratio of 66:1, and this may oscillate over the next couple of weeks. So is the excitement well and truly over? Well, if we listen to an interview conducted by Metal Money with Gary Wagner, who's the editor of thegoldforecast.com, yesterday, Gary does not think the party is over for silver, but for very differing reasons. Now, the interview was over 10 minutes, but we shall edit basically what Gary has said, or précis what he has said. Now, first we have to point out that Gary is fundamentally a technical trading expert, and one who generally is not a victim of hyperbole. Our overarching view of him is that we think he tends to be more bullish than bearish by his very nature, but his technical knowledge is difficult to beat, and he's well worth a listen to. He also appears quite frequently on Kitco, though less often than he used to. Okay, so to summarize more or less what he said, he pointed out that back in January the 18th, a golden cross was formed for the silver market. The golden cross is a technical chart pattern indicating the potential for a major rally. The golden cross appears on a chart when a stock's short-term moving average crosses above its long-term moving average. Now, this happened when silver was around $24.60 to $25, so well before the Robinhood Reddit attack. Now, in addition, he also stated that when last year gold reached a peak of around $2,088, silver only just managed to touch close to $30. And when one compares this with gold's last peak in 2011 of $1,900, silver was just a smidgen off $50. And so silver has a lot of catching up to do. He also highlighted that both to the upside and the downside, silver tends to outrank or outperform gold in percentage terms. And this should have meant, really, that $50 silver should have easily been achieved when gold reached its peak a few months ago. Now, the Robinhood Reddit renegade act this past week was unlikely to succeed, he claims, with silver because it's a very different proposition to the situation with a pure equity play, such as with GameStop. And he more or less put forward the arguments that we've done in our videos. Now, that said, though, he argues that silver has recently broken through a number of Fibonacci retracement levels, and that providing, and this was a proviso, silver can manage to hold about $30 for more than a couple of days, a breakout to the upside is likely. He also pointed out, though, that if silver fell back to $28, $27, then it may be a different proposition. And unfortunately, on that basis, silver has. Or fortunately, if you want to buy more. So Gary is bullish silver, even though today its price has dropped further and re-entered what we believe to be a consolidation phase. Now there are, of course, other factors at play here. The dollar index has strengthened and has moved strongly above the 90 level and is currently 91.21. Equity markets across the board, Asia, Europe, UK and the United States are all up at least 1%. And so this is attracting additional funds away potentially from precious metals and similar commodities. And Bitcoin too has shot up today and is currently $35,167. So it does look very much as if the short squeeze has run its course. Though, potentially, there could be an additional attack or approach, and you cannot rule that out completely. In terms of retail stock, though, we can see that stocks are either depleted or premiums have risen considerably. And frankly, this latter point was to be expected. At the end of the day, bullion dealers very often make only moderate margins. And when they can make more significant margins, such as the recent event, they're going to take advantage of that. And that's capitalism. Now, perhaps attention will be diverted back to fundamentals now that this main excitement period is over. Oh, and by the way, did you notice how many channels all started to talk about silver when this event occurred, and began, some of them, unfortunately, hyping up the price projections? Again, beware of clickbait, which even we benefited from slightly, though stated that these figures were unreasonable in reality. Now, taking all of these factors into account, we're expecting silver to fall below $27 and may even fall back to $26.50, if not lower. But don't let this disturb you too much, as it could once again begin to enter buying potential territory. The ISM Manufacturing Index announced yesterday was down from 60.7% in December to 58.7% in January, against expectations of 60%. And this does not augur well for the moment. That said, there's still considerable economic news still to be reported this week in the United States, including 3 jobs reports, and these could have a significant influence upon what is happening. So, in conclusion, we suspect the party is over, but we'll keep one eye open just in case. But it is likely the Robinhood Reddit group possibly realizes that the silver market is too big a target, or too big a meal to devour. An exciting time nevertheless, and one we're sure everyone's enjoyed. But let's remember Gary's comments, which we agree with over the medium term. We also hope no one bought too much silver at too expensive a rate over the past few days. And if you have, just store it. Remember, these acquisitions should be taken on a medium to long-term basis. Meanwhile, please share your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, do subscribe to our channel. You will have authentic news and reviews here. Not too much bull. Some think a little pessimism, but sometimes in life a little pessimism grounds one. Thank you again. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.